I hit the wrong button. Look at those. Oh man, there's a picture of me from back in the day. Yes, I am still decluttering um my own personal Jesus, my own personal photographs here. And some decades have passed, let me tell you. Some decades have passed, but that's okay because I'm still around. And the wonderful thing about putting things um, into a photo album is at least they're in a semblance of a chronological order. So, good evening. Good evening. As promised, it is a special. Norel, nice to see you. It is a TikTok live, or excuse me, a YouTube live in the evening here in the US. I know it's a different day and time for you. Um, I've had to kind of cut back a little bit on the what do you call it? YouTube lives, simply because we've got so many declutter parties going on, and there's only so much time in the day, and there's only so much energy in this bod right here. So this is kind of fun to do a midday Thursday, right? And we're still here on whatever 8 p.m. on a Wednesday. So you're ahead of the game. I love it. But yeah, and you can tell because I sent out an email to the crew, and I said I was going to put on my pajamas. And you've moved into daylight savings time. Yeah, we changed the clocks. I can never keep track of what is what, nor do I really care the details. All I know, and I will tell you this, is that it is getting way too dark, way too early where I am. I will share you that much. And good morning, or excuse me. Hey, Jackie MCD, Narelle, Scene Stealer 1, Judy Dukes, Michelle. So glad you can listen in tonight too. Kim Harris, good evening. Yeah. I want to maintain the quality of the YouTube lives. And as I was saying, we talk about quality and yes, calm. There we go, Kim Harris. I love it. The quality may mean that you show up less frequently, but you do a good job. As I mentioned, we have a number of declutter parties coming on this month because I wanted to help you prepare for the holiday season. And the time from that takes away from the time that I would do other lives. But I feel like I still want to show up for these when I'm able to. So pardon me. I've done a pretty good job. Judy Dukes, I was thinking of you today when I was doing my habit tracker. And I'm literally pulling it up right now because I realized I did a better job today of drinking more water because I have been kind of slacking on that. I think because the weather is not as, the weather is kind of crappy. Did I brush my teeth? Yes. Washed my face? Did I? No. There's some things I did. Here's the deal with a habit tracker. It's just pavers and potholes, people. Pavers and potholes. What does that mean? It means some days you do things, and some days when you don't do it, it isn't like the world ends. Oh, it means you just didn't do it today, so you can do it another day. So, did I floss my teeth? No, but I did 2 days ago. Did I take a second walk? No, I didn't. I'm making, zeros. Did I take a class today? No. So, what you may notice too is your habits may change with the seasons. I know for me, in the colder, darker months, it takes a lot more energy and motivation to get myself out of my nice, comfy bed and out doing more walks, where when it's warmer and sunnier out, I practically spring out of bed and I cannot wait to go outside. Now, Judy Dukes, the cool thing is, Judy is saying she's got a lot of potholes for me. That is okay. The fact that you're even trying and noticing your potholes makes you get curious about these things. And I will share with you, one of the things I'm just even noticing is I have a whole bunch of zeros and X's and O's, as what was her name? Regardless. X's and O's on a line that I'm usually better at, my yoga classes and Pilates and physical therapy. Why? Because I've been busy again doing declutter parties and things and doctor's appointments when I normally would have a class. And when you are reliant on doing something in a class that somebody has scheduled, you know, so there we go. I love it. Scene Stealer is switch into work mode. Put on the shoes, turn up the heat, and get some water. Let's go. Go for it, dude. Have at it. What I will share with you is I am on the other side of that. Now, I do have the heat on. I turned it up 1 degree, and I'm telling you, it feels better. I also have my lap blanket on. I love a lap blanket. I have taken off my shoes, so I'm kind of like the Mr. Rogers who's coming in and changing out of the hard clothes and more into the clothes for home. So once I was done with my last coaching session, I was very happy to transition into more relaxed, get my robe on and things. But if you want to steal the scene and you want to get going, you go for it. I am encouraging you 100%. And I offer to all y'all, do what feels right to you. Take your time, do it right. So I'm looking at my habit tracker, and frankly, I'm even psyched. I'm always going to be, just so you know, I'm always going to be looking for the good, because when I tell myself a good story, I feel better, and feeling better makes it easier for me to do things, to take action, to do a thing. Even if I'm noticing that I haven't done something in many days, that could recommit me to start tomorrow doing that. Haven't flossed my teeth in a couple of days, I'll plan on doing it tomorrow. Noticing how long it's been since you did something can be really eye-opening. So the habit tracker may not work for everybody, but it's there just as one of the many tools to encourage you to, do some things you think you want to do. So there's that. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about? One of the things that I kind of, I want to say don't like about these YouTube lives, but it is a small core group of people. But because of that, I am usually not kind of, fielding questions and people coming in and out. It's a much smaller crew, but I don't want to be the only one talking. So what do you want to talk about? Put it in the comments. Do you have any decluttering celebrations? Yay! Share them in the comments. You have any things you're what do you call it? Struggling with declutter wise? Put that in the comments too. I did something I rarely do today, which is this, and it has to do with decluttering. The good thing is I took 2 bags of clothing from 2 bags of clothing to a donation place. But what I did was very unusual, because I realized I had 2 jackets/coats that I wasn't wearing. So I immediately put them in a donation bag. And then I stopped and I said, wait a minute. And I pulled them out because I know that there's a coat drive going on at a more local place down the road. So I'm doing that. But I'm feeling good about that because I had some quality of clothes and quantity. Yeah. So I felt good about that. Now, Kim is saying, I'm having trouble getting rid of years of Christmas cards. Some people are no longer here and it's all sentimental. Hun, my Christmas stuff is still down the basement, but I know exactly where my box of sentimental Christmas cards from people who are no longer here are. So what I want to offer to you, Kim, is it's not unusual to want to save a sentimental item, What I want you to think of that might help you is a couple of choices. One is you can do nothing about them, but choose to feel good about what you've saved. You can notice, and this is one of the things that's really interesting to me about decluttering papers, cards and everything like that. One of the reasons, not all of them, but one of the reasons that we tend to declutter is this notion of creating more space. Now, what I want to suggest is, a stack of 100 Christmas cards probably takes up 6 by 9 by like 2.5 inches, 3 inches. If it is torturous to let go of some of those sentimental ones and you're only gaining, 1/4 of an inch of space, I say keep them. What I have done though, is I like to focus on the quality versus the quantity. Okay. So I do totally right now. And isn't this interesting? Notice the power of saving something. I don't even need to be down the basement opening up that box that looks like a giant Whitman sampler and looking at the other box that looks like a Whitman sampler because I have a box within a box. It's kind of silly to know that I have a Christmas card that my dad wrote. Now I'm getting choked up thinking about it because it was before he got sick and his handwriting was strong and assertive. I have a note that probably came in a holiday card or something from my great aunt when her handwriting was a little bit shaky because she was losing her eyesight. I have a card from that, not even from people, but I have some cards, a few cards of friends whose kids are on the ones with the pictures of the kids, and the kids are now grown. I save those things and I own it. I feel okay about it. So that's why I say to you, you don't need to declutter a damn thing unless you want to, unless what you gain is greater than what you lose. I love looking at those. Every year, it's a kind of a tradition for me. And this is one of the things that I say when you save something, please play with your toys. Play with your toys. What do I mean? Don't just shove things away and not look at them. This is the funny thing for me. I am going through these sentimental photo albums of mine. I haven't looked at them literally in decades. Literally. I kind of looked at like you know, the spine as they were all stacked up there, but did I go through and look at them? If I had, I might have noticed. See, I can't even look at them now, frankly, because I'll get distracted. I would have noticed maybe early on that I could have easily dumped some of these things. Now, I did do a couple of years ago, I did do a declutter of some of my photos, but now I'm doing a different one because I'm a different person. Okay, Gina, nice to see you. So don't beat yourself up if you keep sentimental things. But what I want you to think of is quality versus quantity. How many pictures of my cousin's kids do I need from every year? Do I need to keep those every year? No. Maybe I keep one or two. So I decrease the quantity, but it increases the quality. There are some, frankly, that I may have saved from years before that I could be okay letting go of, but do I really need a card's worth of space? So I sometimes err on the side of saving a few extra sentimental things. Now, generic cards and cards, I am so more easily. I used to save all of the cards, and now this is what I do. Okay, this is what I do, Kim Harris, and anybody who we're talking about saving Christmas cards is I get the cards in and we look at them together, my husband and I, when they come in, and we have like a little tray that we put them in, a specific thing that actually came from my great aunt. It used to be on her one of her tables at her little apartment. And so we use that to kind of display those cards throughout the season. And then what I do is I will take those cards, so like my 2024 Christmas cards, I will put them in, probably a Ziploc bag because I always have Ziploc bags in the drawer. And I will put them in with the older kind of established saving of the cards. Then what I will do is when we bring out the cards this year, I will go through the ones from 2024 and more easily let go of them because I didn't look at them all year. And that's a nice little routine and it works for me. And it has stopped me from having a backlog of so many cards. So, what's your process? Do you save any cards? There is no right or wrong answer. Finding something that works for you that also decreases, again, the quantity of cards is what's going to make you feel like, oh, I need to do something about this. The quantity of cards too can be then small and enough to be like, you know what, I'm good with this quantity. Anything further than that is really not getting any more benefit for the stress I have about, oh, should I really let this go? Err on the side of, a quarter of an inch, an eighth of an inch, you know? Well, there you go. So Gina Jen says, I take screenshots of pictures and create an album in my iPhone for it before I toss. When in doubt, take a picture and then toss it. Yeah. So sometimes it can be taking a picture is good enough. Other times you really want the card, so it will be different. So I love that. Uh-huh. Kara, nice. Oh, I love that. Kara, thanks for the reminder. She's watching for the aurora. Now, the funny thing is I read that quickly and I was like, does she have a car called an Aurora? Is she watching from the car? Yeah. She's got 18 things listed on eBay. She dropped clothes at Savers and made 3 doctor's appointments. Well, my, aren't you kicking some ass? That is great. Notice what has happened with Kara. Okay, and I toss the cards the next year. That's what I do too. Kara, if you guys remember, just a couple of weeks ago, handful of weeks ago, was struggling with kind of knowing up here that she wanted to or should list some things on eBay, but there was something going on here that was stopping her from doing it. And we kind of talked through it on one of the TikTok lives. I kind of wish I remembered which one if I labeled it, but I don't always label them. Here's what happened. By just talking through it, Kara had a better understanding of really what was the tiny little thing that ended up being fairly small about doing the stuff on eBay. But then it was literally that she was out of practice. Then she did it. She got refreshed. She kind of, get the rust off. Now she knows how to do it, and she's in a Zoom. She's zooming 18 things on eBay. What's your Kara? What's your eBay handle? I know you told me, but when you told me, you didn't even have anything. You didn't. Yeah, and she said it was fear, and it was just fear of it's going to take too long. I don't know what I'm doing. I forget how to do it. There we go. Mod stuff. I love it. Awesome. I'm going to look you up. All righty. So when you're not doing something, and it's so funny because I, as a decluttering life coach, say this to you guys, to my one-on-one clients. Who is it? What's his name? Seth Godin. Ever seen him? Glasses, bald head, writes marketing books. I get his emails. He usually has some interesting things to say, and it helps keep me in a bit of a kind of a businessy perspective. Okay. And what I want to offer is, even he says, look for the fear. When you're not doing something, when you know up here, I really should do that, but I'm not, what's the fear? Just look for it. You may find something. Once you realize that, typically the fear is a lot smaller than the shadow it casts on you. It's just a scared little kid in the back seat, afraid of looking foolish because you don't know what you're doing. Now, scene stealer, you're on a roll. Okay, I've dealt with all my shoes. Now, next, hanging up the costumes. Okay, hanging up the costumes. All right. Jazzy girl, I was talking about, just the notion of looking for the fear. And I was referring to the fact that I don't just say that as a decluttering life coach, but Seth Godin, who's a marketing guy, has also said, look for the fear. So, I mean, he says it, I say it, I'm in good company. So when you are stopping to do things, yeah. Now, Judy Dukes, we're getting back to cards. I have that with special sympathy cards for my best friend's death. That was 4 years ago. I question if I should throw it away. If you're questioning it, notice it's not a clear answer, yes or no. It's kind of like when you had the magic 8-ball and it says, signs are unclear. It's not a clear sign. So I would say, what's the harm in saving it for a little bit longer? Will you benefit from? Now, trust me, this may not, frankly, this may not scale, but in truly sentimental things that are small and take up a sliver of space, when you're really taking a look, it's not like you're ignoring it. There's a difference between ignoring it and not asking yourself the question at all, and sitting there and asking the question, should I let this go or not? And coming up with an unclear answer. I would always err on the side of keeping it, because you can always throw it away later if you choose to. But if you're iffy and you throw it away, and again, this is a sentimental item that doesn't take up a lot of room and doesn't cause you like a lot of angst. And I would say it's always, but not always better. That's very declarative. I have found I err on the side of saving it, because if I save it, I can throw it away later. But if I throw it away now, I may regret that in an unclear thing, you know? Yeah. No, I love it. Kara says, I kept a handful of my grandparents' cards to me because I wanted their handwriting. Yeah. Only if there was a little note, though. It wasn't just the name. I can ID that Nana handwriting from across the room. I can picture my great aunt Aga's handwriting. Aunt Mimi had stylish handwriting. She worked for Peck and Peck, so I bet she picked up some ways of doing that stuff. My Grammy's was a little bit loopier. Like, I can easily see that. But notice, I'm not looking at the things themselves. I'm looking at the picture in my mind that I have. But I also have some examples of this writing. I enjoy looking at it. There's a certain value of it to me. So be kind and gentle to yourself as you are going through your sentimental items. And if the answer is not clear, err on the side of hanging around until maybe later it will be clear. It is so much easier for me to be going through these photo albums. I am telling you, I am making such progress. I am feeling so good about it, because I'm realizing that some of these pictures that I took back then weren't particularly good. And I don't care if anybody else, I don't even want to see them anymore. And I don't care if anybody else does. So you know what? Into the trash they'll go. Hey, Christina Glendale. Nice to see you. Long time no see. I had a costume change. Oh, and I put on some hand lotion, it's more like a body oil from this girl that I got a massage from. Smells so good. Yes, totally, Christina. I'm telling you, once I got off screen for a while, I totally changed into my pajamas, because after this, in about half an hour or so, about 40 minutes or so, as soon as we shut off here, I'm gonna go. I was gonna do some of this stuff. I am good with what I've done. I feel good about what I got done today. Yeah. Now, Kara says, I have a box, smallish, with my wedding cards, baby birth cards, some special birthday cards, and letters my dad wrote me when I moved to DC when I was 22. Now, I love that. And I will share with you one of the biggest space taker uppers of my sentimental clutter is the yearly boxes. I've showed you guys that before. Like down here, see that box right there that it doesn't have a lid on it? Down there? That's me accumulating sentimental paperwork, as I have done for literally probably the past 20, 30, 40 years. It's a lot more organized, but those boxes take up space. I'm okay with that, because I look forward to going through them. I look forward to checking with myself. Do I still want to keep the things that I thought I wanted to keep in 2005? Or what is it, 20 years later? Holy Moses, time flies. So I have some big boxes of that stuff, but it's organized. And when I saved it, it was intentional that at the time I thought that thing was important. That time has passed, though. It may still be important to me now in the present. That was the past. I am different now. I am the same in the good ways, and I am different in the good ways. So I open up a thing that I haven't looked at since 1977 to 1998. So funny. Oh, hey, and this is crazy. So this is really cool. There's a lot of unsentimental photos in here. And then I see a picture And at the very last page here, in 98, is a picture of my mother and my grandmother and my uncle at her birthday. And it's so funny. I feel like I want to go like zooming in, like using this. And you can tell I'm an old person. And I'm going to figure out where we were. I feel like we were at Yokins. And you know what's really sassy? I love this. My grandmother. So let me do the math. Easily in her 80s. Easily in her 80s. There's a bottle of beer right in front of her. I'm like, go, Graham. Go, Graham. 1918, 1998. You know what's crazy? So my grandmother in that picture that I just found, that I am so glad I saved, is younger than my mother is now. So that to me is a keeper photo. That will go in the category envelope of family photos. And what I will do right now, before it even gets far away, is I'm going to write down 1998 on the back of it. So at least I know the date. So that if I lose my memory and it's no longer in this kind of archival photo album with dates on it, that somebody will find it and hopefully know who that is. Yeah. Oh, funny. This is great. So Kara says, I do have and this, I'm hearkening back to a friend of my sister's, the Gerbeau denim jacket. She used to call it Gerbaude, kind of like, what was that? There was in a movie, somebody mispronounced it. I do have a Gerbeau jacket that I bought with my first paycheck at the BU bookstore. I've always loved coats in 1984. It may fit me again soon. If it does, I'll wear it. You know what I have? And I know exactly where it is in that. And see, this is the thing. When you know what you have and you know where it is, as Christina and I were talking, that's a really good feeling. That's a really good feeling. In that suitcase right there, I have the studded leather belt. It was a single strand with pyramids on it that I bought at Newbury Comics on Newbury Street with my first paycheck, which I think was 1983. And I wonder if it still fits me. For years, I kept it and it did not fit me, nor did I wear it as a belt. I kept it as a sentimental object because it represented who I was at the time and what I spent my first paycheck on. And it could possibly fit me now. I don't think I'd wear it, but I think I'm going to change it into, I think I might even have somebody make it into a bracelet so I can look all, Billy Idol and stuff. Notice that sentimental items benefit from curation. This is one of the things that tends to slow down when you are cleaning out somebody else's stuff and it's not organized. You don't know if they meant to keep it or they kept something by accident. Is there some symbolism? Is there some message behind this Filene's receipt? Or did somebody just not throw it away? And when you don't know if there's a story behind something, especially if you don't know the story, it can make it more difficult to let something go. Now, knowing the story can also make things difficult to let go. But knowing there's no story attached to it can be very freeing. So I want to thank you guys because I definitely would not on my own, kind of like you perhaps, would not have necessarily dug into my own sentimental clutter had I not had accountability, support, people to share the stories with, to share my journey, to maybe help you. So I want to thank you for being there for me while I do this. As I said, I haven't looked through some of these things in 30 years. I am really enjoying the process. I will share this with you too, just so you're preparing. I feel like I'm a little bit, this is what I feel like I'm doing. It's like, I'm a little bit ahead on the path. So if like I'm there and something happens, I can turn to you and say, hey, this may happen to you. Like, watch out. There's, a bump in the road over here. And one of the things I have felt this week, especially going through my sentimental photo albums, is really that sense of time travel. Really, that sense of time travel, of sitting there and porting myself. I may be my body may be sitting here in 2025 in Pennsylvania, but I look at a picture of myself from 1996 and I am not here anymore. My brain and my soul, I am back there because there are so many other details that I remember of those photos that nobody else knows except me. Now, they're not necessarily stories worth saving or sharing, but you know that in that kind of time travel, here I am, and then my soul moves decades into the past, and then I look up, and immediately it's almost like severance, and all of a sudden you're here, and it's 2025. That can take some energy out of you. Yeah. And one of the things that's kind of cool is that you notice maybe too, because I'm reading Kara's comments and noticing who you are, who you were, and what part of you is still that person. Knowing, you're like, yes, my first paycheck from the post, I bought an Albert Nippon long black wool wrap coat with a tall collar and a belt. I was insane, but I loved that coat. So you now have a story that's in your head and your heart about the time that you loved coats so much that you spent more than your rent on a coat. And maybe that was worth it to you. Feeling good about spending big amounts of money is something that I was not ever comfortable with. So that's probably why I did a lot of thrifting. I am getting better at spending a lot of money on things I like, though, I will tell you. And what I'm noticing is when I really like something and I spend the money on it, it is worth it. So notice who you were. I was a kind of person who liked coats. Do I still like coats now? Who was I? I was somebody who shopped at Newbury Comics. Am I still the kind of person that shops at Newbury Comics? Well, not really, for various reasons, but I still identify with that kind of my punk rock past, my music loving past. I still have friends that I have when I worked at Noobs, so you will go on a journey through time when you go through your stuff. So I say this to you, to any journey, be prepared when you do it. Prepare yourself. And if you don't feel prepared, now may not be the time, but also you can peek in. You can always shut the lid, but you may be happily surprised. I looked in this and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to throw away like 90% of these photos. And I feel good about it. The ones I feel, and then I'm like psyched because I found that picture of my grandmother. Crazy. Yeah. Right. Now notice, yeah, you are no longer lost in your stuff, says Christina. We were just talking about this today. Yeah. And some of the things we spend money on and some of the things are only in our lives. The physical thing is there for a short amount of time, but the memory can last forever. Because you know what happened to Kara's $350 coat? It was stolen out of a car when she lived in DC. She was heartbroken. And now she is not the kind of person who would spend that on clothes now, but now she'll spend that money on airfare. So notice that you can have something, a thing you love that you don't even need to have in front of you to tell the story of it. Sometimes you want to keep it. Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't. It was funny. I saw a guy on TikTok the other day and he was wearing kind of a pea green coat and I could only see the collar. And I was like, I remember having a pea green coat and I loved it. It was a little bit big now and now it would be even bigger. I finally did let go of it, but I have pictures of myself wearing it. Kara, I'm curious. Do you know if there were ever any pictures taken of you when you were in that coat? Now, I share this with you because one of the things we said about Christmas cards was sometimes it is easier for you to release something if you take a picture of it. So I say this to you, I say this to me. If you have clothing in your current closet or whatever, drawers, if you have clothing that you really love, but you're not wearing it, maybe you don't fit into it or something, check to see if you have pictures of yourself wearing it. If it still fits you and you like it, but you may not wear it again, put it on, take a picture of it. If it doesn't fit, lay it down on the bed, take a picture of it. Take a picture. It will last longer, says Pee Wee. But seriously, a picture may do just as well, and it takes up far less space. Because again, one of the things we do for decluttering is we want to increase the amount of space we have. We want to decrease the amount of things we're responsible for. And the other thing is, we also want to not leave this stuff for somebody else to have to figure out what to do. Let's be the figure outerers and do something about it. And that's cool. Kara has lots of pictures. It was my fancy work coat. I should go look for it. Yeah, every now and again, I look for it on eBay. Yeah, who doesn't? I look for that kind of stuff too. Things that I had back in the day that I kind of regret or, left me in the divorce or whatever. So notice that though, the coat lives on in your heart, in your head, in your stories. So even if the thing gets stolen or ruined, it can still live on. Just something to think about while you're decluttering. I'm going to hydrate. Pardon me as I hydrate. I have found in my journey of decluttering, there are fewer and fewer things that I actively look up on eBay to buy. Sometimes I look things. Jeanette, hello. Um, Sometimes I look for things and just looking at the photo is good enough for me now because I realize every item I bring into my house, I know somebody said this today when I was on a TikTok, but it becomes inventory. It is something that you need to be responsible for and manage and move and shelve and rotate and display. It's just like working retail. And I am tired of managing things. I don't want to be, I don't know about you, but I want to be responsible for fewer things as I age. I want to be responsible. Yeah, because every item you have, you are now responsible for. Making sure it doesn't get damaged and finding a place to put it and then putting another place to put it and telling somebody else the stories of it. And if you're not responsible, and then you hand down that responsibility to somebody who's going to clean out your house when you pass away. And I'm tired of being responsible. I want to decrease the amount of things that rely on me. And I want to just be a lot lighter. Because think about that. Imagine you have this magic suit that has these unlimited pockets, and that everything that you own is in a pocket of a coat. How difficult and heavy it is to move through life when you have so much. Now, let's say you have just the right amount. It's effortless. When you have just the right amount, that is no effort. It is very easy. Yeah. Now, last of the big time spenders. I love it. I love it. Yeah. I am in the quality mode. I have something coming. I have a piece of Bauer pottery that I have lusted after for decades practically, that I finally said, why am I waiting? I even cheaped out on myself a couple of years ago when we went to the pottery works itself. And I was like, oh, I don't need that. It's fine. Then I said, you know what? Life is short. Life is short. Get the things you really, really want. And I'm so excited about that. Clothing, not so much. Jewelry, nah. Shoes, Makeup, obviously not. But a few key clutch mid-century modern pieces to style up my house. Some nice hotel rooms. That's what I want to spend my time on and money on. And I will tell the story gladly of the lamp and the canoe and the patio furniture to my nieces and nephews so they know they don't have to keep it, but I want them to know how much it meant to me, on the off chance it means something to them. So notice I'm just talking about stuff. Let's talk about stuff, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about stuff. Let's talk about stuff. Because we think about our stuff. You don't realize how much you think about your stuff, how much brain energy you use just thinking about your stuff. What do I do with it? What do I not do with it? Where does it go? Do I need it anymore? Do I not want it anymore? Should I get that new one? Is this okay? Oh, should I get that repaired? It is it is tiring. So just think of it. The fewer items you have, the fewer things you have to think about. And what I will offer to you too, again, from just a little bit ahead of on the road, or maybe a lot ahead. Everybody's on their own journey, and there's no right or wrong or whatever. But I am further along than a lot of y'all. Is I am finding it still easier to let go of things, easier to let go of things that maybe even last year or the year before I might have hung on to, because I'm realizing how much better I feel with fewer things, but of the right quantity and quality. That's where I'm at. And so that is the curation, that is the decluttering and the feeling good about what you keep and feeling good about what you let go of. Let go of. um, I think of some of the clothing that I put in the bags to donate. I had 2 pair of capris. I used to think I looked good in them, and I saw some pictures. I'm like, I don't like how I look in those. Now, do I need 2 pair? No. Will I use 1 pair for like bumming around in the yard where I don't care what I look like? Sure, but do I need 2? No. Easily, again, quantity cut by 50%. I put it in the bag. Did I just buy them this spring? Yes, I did. Did I try wearing them this summer? Yes, I did. Did I like how they looked? Not so much. Do I want to like how I look in my clothes? Yes. So what do? I say to myself, I don't want to look dumpy this season. So if I put on some clothing and I feel dumpy in it, and you guys, I mean, everybody's got their own definition of dumpy. But if I don't feel good in it, I happily take it off and put it in a bag. And I would rather wear fewer pieces of clothes that I feel good in than have a quantity of clothing that I don't feel good in. Yeah. Yep. And Kara, it's probably just that's what I'm thinking about too. And maybe somebody else is, I don't know who else here is that kind of age, but Kara says 60 came with a major shift for me. Notice shifting your focus from one thing to another. Focus on decluttering, streamlining, and having clothes that make me feel good about myself. Yeah, me too. Because life is too short to be weighed down with things that really don't matter. Life is too short to wear clothing that is uncomfortable, at least for long periods of time. Life is too short to spend any of it not happy and comfortable. Now, you can't, you know, pain and sorrow exist as well as happiness, but trying to create the happiness as much as you can will give you energy so you can weather the pain and the suffering and the heartbreak and all that. So just get curious. Where are you on your journey? It's crazy. I think back again, I'm time traveling. That picture of my grandmother, she had just turned 80. We thought that was pretty old, however many years ago that was. 98, do the math, like 1998, do the math. Almost 30 years, 27, 26 years. She lived for another 20 years. Yeah, she died at almost 101. But I will tell you that the quality of the years that she had was not the same as the quantity of the years. So make sure there's quality in them Lar Hills. Quality of life is what we all want. And we're not guaranteed it, so you have to create it. And especially as we get older, it may be more difficult because the human body has a finite lifespan. And our spirit is the only way our spirit gets around the world is by walking around in this body. So taking care of your body is going to take more time, more energy, more money to even just do the things that you used to be able to do easily. Knowing that, what are some things you want to do sooner rather than later in your life? Do you want to live in a decluttered home before you're 80 years old? Start now. My grandmother's house is up New Hampshire. I know that in the attached multiple barns in the back field, probably all chock-a-block full of stuff that nobody wants to deal with. I'll do it if they ask me, but I ain't gonna go organizing the family unasked. I've learned my lesson. So what do you want to, if you want to live a decluttered life sooner rather than later, that's why it's good we're hanging out. You're starting now. Everything's coming up roses and daffodils. Um, yeah. This is the cool thing about this journey too, is that like I think of the time and energy and angst I used to have about cleaning my house and cleaning the room. Now I just walk around my house and it looks good and it feels good and nothing's yelling at me. I mean, occasionally I do need to maybe like, I don't know, we need to get some new blinds, but I don't really care. I will get it done, but I don't let it stress me out the way I used to. Don't let your stuff stress you out. And the easiest way for it to not stress you out is for it not to be in your life at all. Because there is a certain amount of responsibility you have to the stuff that you own. If I were moving, I was talking about this with somebody. If I were moving, I would bring a fraction of what I currently have in this entire house. Even if the house was the same size, I would not want to bring with me. There are some things that would not make the cut. Are they still on shelves right now? Yeah, but I'm not moving. But notice I look at these things and I've kind of dissociated myself from it. I have detached as reaches for things. I had a story about that. That's a book I read back then. Do I need to keep that? Nope. I can let that book go. I can think of books that I have multiple copies of. Do I need multiple copies of that? I used to think I did. It was fun to collect them. Every time an episode, an issue. I'm trying to think of the word. It doesn't matter. Every time a new version of that book came out, I would buy it. Do I really need to keep that though? No. Well, if I removed them now, I would have an empty shelf, which would mean in theory, I'd need to find something to put on that shelf. Do I want to be buying anything more? No. Do I have anything that doesn't have a home that could use that shelf? No. Okay, so I'm cool with that stuff now. Edition. Thank you, Scene Stealer. I appreciate it. Yes, like a first and second edition type thing. Is it fun to go through and see what you used to be interested in? Yeah. You know what I'm doing right now? I literally was doing this moments before this YouTube live. Is I was looking through that book and I had some time and some quiet. And I said, okay, I started writing writing the story. And I was like, 1997, I went to this event. It was in this state. What month? Where was I living? And then I was able to, with the clues that I had in the, so I just noticed something to my hair. With the clues that I had in my photo album, it was like, oh, that's right. And that's when I moved from this place to that place. And then there's a picture of where I moved. And so I started downloading and writing down the information that is only up here so that if I want to remember what years I lived where, I have it written down. And so I offer to you, and yay, McDougs, I'm enjoying looking through my things too. If you're not enjoying looking through your things, why did you save it? And that sounds, I apologize if that sounds judgy, but it's a question though. I save things so that I will enjoy because I anticipate enjoying looking at them again in the future. I have decades worth of what I call evidence of a life well lived. I know one of the boxes I have downstairs is labeled that. Another one is labeled, "Oh, the fun we had." So it was intentional that I put it away, and I put it away for my future self to be reminded of all the fun I had in each one of those days. And who knows, maybe I want to be surrounded by those things. Maybe I look at them when I turn 60, 61, 62. Maybe I want to be surrounded by that stuff on my deathbed. Maybe I want it all shoved in the pine box with me and put it up on the funeral pyre. But I put away things knowing that I would feel good looking through those things. Now, even then, there may be some bittersweet moments. I may see a picture of my dad who's passed. I may see a picture of a friend who I'm no longer in touch with. I may see something that will trigger an unexpected feeling. Well, you know what that means? It means that feeling part of me, that spectrum of feelings that I have, because life is on the spectrum of feelings. It's a rainbow. She's like a rainbow. And none of us know when our last day is going to be. So start living before you die and die and dying. You know, it's funny because that "Like a Rainbow" song reminded me of friends of ours. A local DJ here in Philly passed, and our friends were good friends with him. And he passed away suddenly. He was at a concert over the weekend, and he didn't show up for work one day, which is noticeable when you're a DJ on the radio. And they went and checked his house, and he passed. He didn't expect it. It wasn't expected. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So I say this to you. If we knew in advance, like looking at pictures of me, not even knowing, 1997 me had no idea that in 1998, I would go to a rock show. I would see a guy, think he's cute. We'd become kind of pen pals through the internet. And then a couple of years later, we'd be married. I had no idea. If I did know that, I might have eased up on myself and trusted. So think of things that will be good in your future. You don't know what's going to do, but make some good things happen to yourself. Start planting those seeds for the flowers you want to bloom. Notice that you're going to feel all the feelings. Every color of the rainbow is a feeling. And if your feelings are working well, you're probably you're going to feel them all at different times. It's not all going to be sunshine and rainbows, but it's not all going to be rainstorms and, like hurricanes. It's going to be a combo of that. And it just means you're alive. It does. As I always say, like if you're feeling a feeling, it means you're not dead. You're not a robot. You're not a zombie. 3 things I don't want to be: dead, robot, zombie. That's why when you've signed up for the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel, or no, excuse me, I'm getting tired. Destination Decluttered, the email group, it literally says, retype this code to prove to me you're not a robot, because I don't want to hang around with people who don't think or feel. Pretty easy. That's the kind of person I am. It's the kind of person I want to hang out with, is thinkers and feelers and doers. Because what I don't want is for you to get your thinker and your feeler in the way of doing the things you want to do, of allowing your body, your soul. Think about this. Your spirit, and I'm not religious, but your spirit can only go do things when your body is moving. Like it can only go to the Cape when your body is going down the Cape. So take yourself on some adventures. Show your spirit the world. Have some fun before, your car breaks down and your spirit goes somewhere else. All right, folks, I'm going to wrap it up. I am going to wrap it up because I'm getting tired. This has been so much fun. Couple of things as we wrap it up. I'm just checking my emails. Oh, cool. I planted a seed for something fun I want to happen, and I just saw a response. Okay. Tomorrow, All right, so here's a couple of things. Tomorrow is Thursday, November 13th, noontime. Noontime is a declutter party, noontime Eastern, okay? There's also an 11 a.m. TikTok. So right before that is 11 a.m. TikTok. I feel like Bono when I say that. Friday, we've got a TikTok live and a YouTube live. Saturday and Sunday, we've got declutter parties for the people who said, I can't do the weeks. Can you do the weekend? And I said, yes. Okay. So there we go. Kara, go down, drive down the beach and see what you can see. Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to go outside and look up at the sky here. You never know. Okay. Look for the aurora borealis. All righty. There we go, scene stealer. Thank you. I put away shoes, hung up costumes, and began to declutter my desk. Wonderful. What a great progress you made. So good. So good. So good. All right. Now I am going to endeavor to sign off. I'll see y'all when I see you. Sweet dreams. And go look outside at the sky.